This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome back, everybody, to Change Your Mindset Podcast. So, first of all, Happy New Year. It's a brand new year. So, obviously, this episode is going to be what my predictions are for 2023, whether it's going to be an economic downfall, recession, depression. So, we're going to get into it right now. So, overall, the global economy isn't good. It's obviously very bad. As you can see in pretty sure everyday life, you see the inflation. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people are struggling right now. And unfortunately, a lot of people are actually living off their credit cards because they can't afford certain things, whether it's groceries, gas, essentials, whatever it may be. A lot of people are living off their credit cards. And that's from 2022. So with 2023, in my personal opinion, like I said, I always do research on this, whether it's macroeconomics, obviously watching or listening and doing my research on if it's people that are very into the economic side of it. Overall, people that know are very financially educated. I do a lot of research every day, so I study this very frequently. And in my personal opinion, I think 2023 will be a very difficult year for a lot of people. A lot of people will struggle. Like I talked about in podcasts of the November recap, layoffs have begun. In my personal opinion, I think more and more people will be laid off in 2023. Since the economy is going to be worse, businesses will struggle. And since obviously, as we know, the Fed is increasing their rates. So with that happening, businesses are going to struggle because they can't borrow money because now it's too expensive. And as we know, that's going to lead to more and more people being unemployed. And if people are struggling with money because of inflation already, they're not going to be out spending money, whether it's clothing or games, whatever it may be. They're not going to be out spending money because they're already struggling with inflation and having troubles buying essentials. So obviously businesses are going to struggle and they're going to have to start laying off people. So I believe that 2023 there will be more layoffs. And this is actually what the Fed wants. They want more layoffs because they want the economy to slow down because they're trying to fight inflation, obviously by increasing the interest rates. So with that being said, the interest rates, obviously the Fed's still going to be increasing in 2023, probably not as aggressive as in 2022. So with that being said, we have not seen the results of increased interest rates. Obviously, it does take time to hit the economy. So it might take a couple months or maybe a year, if anything. But we haven't seen the effects of the high interest rates that have been increased by the Fed. So you have to take that into consideration, and we haven't even seen that yet. So in 2023, we possibly might be seeing the outcome of that result. And I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot on either whether it's the news or you hear from other people you talk to about a recession. Like I said in previous podcasts, technically by definition, we've been in a recession. Obviously, the government has a different definition now, and obviously, technically, in their opinion, we are not in a recession. But I believe in 2023, they will finally admit that we are in a recession. Obviously, they do not want to say, obviously, on the news, because then people get paranoid. And obviously, they'll be scared and feared and fearmonger because you hear recession, you think, wow, a lot of people are going to be struggling, people be laid off. You just think of the worst for the economy. And obviously, once the government says we are technically in a recession, a lot of people will be paranoid. So, like I said, I predict they will admit it in 2023 because things are definitely getting worse. So just be prepared to hear that on the news, and more than likely, they have no choice to finally admit that we are in a recession no matter what. How bad this recession gets, I don't know. Will it reach a depression? There are people that believe that technically we can reach a depression. In my personal opinion, I don't know. We can't really predict the future. Like I said, this is just a prediction. It might be right, it might be wrong. But how things are going, and after doing a lot of research, it doesn't look good. It hasn't been looking good since last year. Obviously, the economy has been slowing from the beginning last year, and obviously we were seeing the effects. Obviously, we saw it last year, and now this year we're probably going to see even a slower economy, and more than likely we probably will have a long, deep recession, in my opinion, because it's going to take a while for the economy to get better because the Fed is still increasing interest rates because they're still trying to fight inflation. The only thing that can obviously change if the Fed decides to print out money again, because every time we had a bad economic downfall, obviously it saw in 2008, 2020, etc., the Fed just started printing money. So obviously they printed money, the economy skyrocketed, got better, everything was great. But that just obviously increases inflation, and we just end up kicking the can further down the road. Since we created all that money in 2008, 2020, now we're obviously going to be paying for it. So there will be a lot of hardships. And obviously that's what the Fed's trying to slow down with killing this inflation since it's been so high. And I believe it's like 7%. But if the Fed does start printing out money again, just be prepared that inflation will go back up again. Things will get more expensive. And obviously, like I said, we just kicking the can further down the line. So obviously, eventually we're going to have to suffer for what all this money that was printed, we're going to have to suffer for it. Also, I believe in 2023, I think houses will obviously fall. As you can see, if you look at the house market, the prices are beginning to fall. Obviously, there are not many buyers out with obviously the rates going back up high. They're not 3% anymore. So obviously the rates are a lot higher and people aren't buying anymore. So there will be people in 2023 that will not be able to pay the rent and would not be able to afford their homes because it was too expensive and they bought when the market was way too high. So you will start seeing people losing the homes, and you will start seeing a lot of homes going on the market. So obviously, if you have the money, this might be a great opportunity for you to get a house that obviously is cheaper now. Because like I said, in 2022, a lot of people paid for houses that weren't even worth what they were valued at. They were way overpriced because of inflation. And now people are going to realize they bought a house that was super expensive, and they're going to realize their house wasn't really worth that amount when they bought it. It's actually worth a lot less. So I predict in 2023 the house market will drop. How much? I don't know, but it will drop a good amount, in my personal opinion, after seeing how everything is going. Everything I'm saying right now so far obviously sounds very negative. Obviously, in my personal opinion, I think 2023, like I said, is going to be a hard year for a lot of people. A lot of people will struggle. And obviously what I'm telling you is not for you to be scared or be fearmonger because it looks very bad or negative. You need to start preparing now, and I think more now than ever, financial education is so important. Like I said, a lot of people aren't financially educated. That's why I do these podcasts, stuff like that. I hopefully help people obviously be financially educated, because I think now more than ever, it's going to be very important because, like I said, people that are not financially educated, they are going to struggle. They're going to struggle a lot, and it's going to be hard for them. And a lot of people are going to be affected by how the economy is going to go, and a lot of people are going to be hurting. So obviously, if you listen to podcasts, this podcast is to help you obviously prepare, because you need to prepare now more than ever, because once you realize things are getting a lot worse, it might be too late. And if you're not preparing, you might be one of those people that are going to be suffering. And I hope you're not one of them. And I hope you obviously do realize that you need to start financially educating yourself right now, because it's very important. And I would never tell you what to do with your money, where to put your money. That's totally up to you. Obviously, you need to educate yourself. And I would never recommend anything like that, because I never give financial advice. I always just give financial education. But like I said, in 2023, I think, in my opinion, you will need to save a lot of money, whether it is to survive or you want to take this opportunity, because like I said, things will go cheap, whether it's going to be stocks, houses, whatever it may be. People will be selling things for cheap because they need the cash. You can save cash, and then when things are cheap, you have the money to buy it. And obviously, when things get better, whenever that happens, the price will go up. So my opinion, I think you're going to have to save money right now, this year. Whether you need to get a side hustle to make some extra money, whether it's, doing something like Uber, Postmates, whatever it may be, selling something, whatever it may be. I think it's very important to have some extra money coming in right now. And let's just say if nothing happens, if things do not get bad, at the end of the day, say things get better somehow, you have extra money. If you want to invest that money or if you want to spend it, that's totally up to you. That's your decision. But like I said, I truly believe things will be very hard this year. Things will get very difficult, and it's going to be hard financially. So as I'm saying, this my personal opinion, I would save money. I mean, personally, that's what I'm doing, because if there's opportunities for things are cheap, I want to have the money. Obviously, a lot of rich people, this is exactly what they do. During economic downfalls, the rich get richer, and obviously the poor get poorer. I mean, that's because obviously the rich are financially educated, and obviously the poor are not financially educated. So this is how it works. Obviously, during economic downfalls, the poor, since they are not financially educated, they don't know what to do. They panic, and obviously they have jobs, so they're gonna lose a lot of money. They're gonna be living paycheck to paycheck, which a lot of people are now. They're gonna be putting a lot of their expenses on credit cards, which they're already doing as of now. So they're gonna struggle because they don't know what to do with the money. They don't know how to handle money. So now they're going to struggle a lot, and they're going to sell things because they're worth a lot of money for probably a little bit cheaper than they want to, because they need the money. And now the rich, since they are financially educated, they know during these times they can get richer, because for them, it's like Black Friday. Everything's on sale, whether it's stock market, houses, products, whatever it may be. They know things will be a lot cheaper because the economy is bad. So everything will be a lot cheaper. And that's when they have a whole bunch of money stored up. I mean, this is exactly what Warren Buffett's doing now. He has a lot of money stored up. So when things are really bad, he's going to have the money to buy, whether it's stocks, houses, whatever it may be. He has the money already. So that just makes the rich richer because they're financially educated. So they wait for opportunities like this in the economy when things get really bad to obviously make themselves more wealthier. And obviously, if you listen to this podcast, you can do the exact same thing. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, my opinion, I'm saving money when the opportunity comes, and there's something that obviously really good in value that's really cheap, I'll buy it. And you can do the same exact thing. You just have to obviously be financially educated and obviously do a little research and make sure you know exactly what you're doing. Like I said in a previous podcast, these get rich scams, you're going to see a lot of scams too. When things are like this, people will get desperate. They will say, oh, you can invest in this to make this amount of money. They will sell you a lot of lies. Obviously, you see it on social media, whether it's either on YouTube. You see it a lot. You obviously have to be very careful, because nowadays people are just trying to take your money. And obviously, they're not providing anything when they're taking your money. They're not giving anything, whether it's on a product or, education, whatever it is. People are just trying to take your money. They're just selling you something that's not real. And like I said, when things get tough, if people need the money and they hear someone say you can make an extra $1,000 a week if you do this and subscribe, or if you follow whatever it may be, their Patreon, whatever it may be, and you follow or you buy their classes, whatever it may be, and some of it's obviously, majority is scams. So I said it's gotta be careful, because if people need the money, they're gonna believe it. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall into it because they're desperate and they need quick money. And if they're struggling, they will obviously listen and believe on these people that are selling them fake dreams. And obviously, it's sad. I see it happen, unfortunately. But like I said, during these times, you just gotta be very educated. You gotta do your own research, because times like these, people will take advantage of people who are not very financially educated, unfortunately. And as the saying goes, I'm sure a lot of you guys heard of it, if it's too good to be true, it's because it is. So at the end of the day, just please be careful if you invest in anything or if you're buying something. Obviously, please do your research. And when it goes to buying things, I think during this year, if you don't need it or it's just something you want, just don't buy it. because, like I said, money is going to be hard. Things are going to be very tough. So if you're like buying, whether it's for a hobby or it's collecting, whatever it is, or like I said in the previous podcast, something involving sports, you can't, during this time, you can't. You just need to save that money because it's going to be hard. So I wouldn't recommend if you don't need it, if it's not essential, if it's not something that you have to use it, whether it's food or something around the house that you actually have to use to obviously whether survive or live, obviously you need to buy that. But if it's something that you want, or if, like I said, it's something you really don't need, I would personally recommend probably not buying it. In my opinion, right now, that's exactly what I'm doing. If I don't need it, I'm not gonna buy it because, like I said, cash is gonna be very hard to come by because they're squeezing money, and obviously they're trying to take money out of the economy. So if they're trying to take money out of the economy, it's gonna be harder and harder to get money. That's why obviously getting a side gig or maybe getting a part-time job or something to get some extra money in during these times is probably going to be crucial for a lot of people. So in my opinion, I think a lot of people are going to have to be grinding this year because it's going to get tough. So you have to work hard. Like I said, more now than ever, financial education is going to be super important. And obviously, if you have financial education, it's going to help you and take you a long way compared to someone that doesn't. Because like I said, obviously we're not taught any financial education. You got to do it and learn it on your own. So with the conclusion of this podcast, like I said, this podcast isn't to scare you. It's obviously not get worried. Obviously you will be obviously scared, worried, paranoid if you didn't start preparing. If out of nowhere you just see this and you just start, or you lose your job, or you don't have money set aside for emergencies, obviously then you'll be panicking. And that's exactly what I don't want people to be doing. That's why obviously you need to start preparing now for you're not panicking when the time, if and does come. So I'm saying this year's going to be hard. I think there's going to be more layoffs. Like I said, I think the economy is going to get worse. House market, I think, is going to go lower. Obviously, that's more than likely happen. Stock market, more than likely, possibly is going to go down even more. Overall, like I said, right now, globally, the economy is bad. The U.S. obviously is starting to see a trend of it going south as it gets worse. But like I said, overall, my predictions for 2023, it's not going to be a good year for a lot of people, or for the economy as overall. It's going to be very difficult. So now more than ever, you're going to have to go get it. Like I always said, you need to be the best version of yourself, whether it's, the trifecta, as I say, mentally, physically, and financially. Like I said, you always should succeed to be the best version of yourself. A lot of people say, what's your New Year's resolution? My New Year's resolution is always the same thing, to be better than I was last year. If you obviously follow that resolution, every year you should see improvement in yourself. Like I said, being financial, physical, and mental. If you're improving every single year, you'll be amazed how far you will go. So like I said, now more than ever, it's going to be very important to be the best version of yourself because time's going to be very difficult and it's going to be rough out there. So I really wish everyone the best. And who knows, maybe you have a killer 2023 and you'll be amazed. And in the first year of 2024, we're doing this podcast, we'll be amazed like whether the economy did bad, and maybe all of us, we did great. Obviously, we found ways to make money or obviously take opportunities during bad situations, and maybe we come out of this very wealthy. So then hopefully a lot of people, obviously we educate them as well, because more now than ever, like I said, you're going to have to help a lot of people that are not financially educated, because they will be struggling, because the majority of people are, like I said, living paycheck to paycheck. So obviously you can educate them yourself, or you can tell them about this podcast, and I appreciate it. And I hope it helps them out, because a lot of people are going to need a lot of help this year. But, this is just my predictions. Like I said, in my personal opinion, after doing a lot of research, studying, obviously with microeconomics, in my personal opinion, it's going to be a hard year for a lot of people. So, but that's just my prediction for 2023. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everything goes better. Who knows? I mean, obviously, I'd hope for that. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it will. So, like I said, Happy New Year. And I hope this 2023 is actually a good year for you. It might be bad for others, but hopefully, like I said, if you're financially educated and you start doing your own research and due diligence, you could come out of this in a totally different pace. Maybe you, like I said, become out wealthier. So, like I said, I wish everyone tons of success in 2023. It's the beginning of the year. I hope this year you're going to go out and get it. And like I said, hit that trifecta. Be the best version of yourself because you're only born once. You have one life. Don't waste it. So obviously, be the best version of yourself as in finance, mental, and fitness. So I wish everyone the best this year. I hope we all come out of this on top. And if you listen to this podcast, I appreciate it. As always, hopefully this does help you and help you does change your mindset. Like I always say, change the mindset, change the life. And if you enjoy this podcast, I hope you're subscribing wherever you're listening to, whatever platform may be. I hope you subscribe. I appreciate it. Like I said, Happy New Year. I wish you the best. Go out and get it. Thank you again, and take care.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.